Welcome back to Benner Business Podcast. My name is Cliff, and I'm joined here with my lovely wife.
I'm Sydney, and you might see a dog walk back and forth if you're watching. If you're listening, you probably hear him whine or do whatever too.
Yeah, he'll probably whine. He's really boisterous on
He has a lot
getting.
to say.
Yes, he does. He thinks he knows best
Yes.
for all of us, which is just him, and not even that. But if you see those ears, just know that he's adorable. But today we are going to be discussing prioritizing. We've already discussed mindset. We've
Mhm.
discussed scheduling. And I think this kind of goes with both of those. So I'm kind of interested to bring them together, talk about it a little bit, what we've done, how we've learned, and move into putting it together with those two as well. So
Yeah, it's it's a lot to take on right now. When we're filming this, it's later than normal.
mhm.
Also,
We actually usually film on weekends, and
yeah,
we're filming. I mean, if you're watching, you're gonna see us nicely dressed because we're
we
after
actually
work.
look good.
Yeah, my hair's done and the beard's nice and straight as much as possible.
But
You look lovely, I gotta say.
thanks.
Yes.
But one of those long days, if I can English.
Ooh, the day has already proceeded.
It's just been a long day because both of us, we actually ended up working late. So in a way, we were prioritizing, okay, we're going to film tonight and we're going to catch up on our business. And both of us, we end up coming home. I came home, I think,
We had about an hour extra, and
yeah,
then I was an hour and
yeah,
a half.
yeah, yeah. And then
So
after obviously dinner, it's
it's pretty late. I mean,
yeah,
we're
for
already
us
for us.
anyway.
We like to go to
We're
bed
early.
early.
Yeah. Early
Yeah,
birds.
early
Is that
birds,
what you
senior citizen.
call it? Yeah. We like our meals early and our bed early.
Yeah, even earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's definitely showing that we made, this goes hand in hand with our scheduling and our mindset episodes as well. Um, but we put this on our schedule. We said Monday we're going to schedule. We got done with work and we had to prioritize work at the time because whatever was required of us both. We have projects going on there, and we put that ahead, and then we came home and we left this on our schedule, and we're still doing it. We made this a priority,
Hmm.
and that's why we're doing it right now. And that's kind of a great. I think it's great that we did this episode tonight because of that, to
Yeah.
show that we're trying to, do what we say, and like, we scheduled it, we made it a priority, and we're doing it still. We could have easily just, oh, we'll get to it tomorrow,
Yeah.
but then it wouldn't be a priority.
Yes. And that's something that I've noticed in a lot of trends, regardless where we're at in our life, is we set it as a priority, but do we actually do it?
Mhm.
And the majority of the time is we'll wait till the weekend. We'll wait till the weekend. We'll wait till the weekend. And then the weekend rolls around, and how long is our priority list at that point?
Yeah,
A notebook
it's
length?
like 2, 3 days worth that we
Yeah.
fit into 2 days worth,
Yeah.
maybe a day and a half.
Yeah. So it's one of those things like it is hard to prioritize because there is a lot going on. But if you keep pushing it off, then it all builds up and then you just get overwhelmed and you end up not doing anything. And that kind of goes in with our scheduling
Yeah.
where it's hard to schedule and then set the right priorities. And right now, it like each day, I guess I should say each day the priority is different.
Mhm. Yeah.
Today our priority was filming,
Yes.
but we didn't anticipate an extra hour and a half of work that we had to prioritize on top of our business priorities.
Mhm.
So what does that mean? We're up later, which
We make sleep less of a priority at that point.
yeah.
And so it does kind of it in the business world we're in, and we've learned as well, because we haven't prioritized our businesses. We would do We'll wait till the weekend.
Yeah,
We push it off. We don't get to it. And that's burned us pretty hard.
it has. But we are also burnt out.
Yes.
And that's something we don't like. I think we talked a little bit about in mindset, if I'm not mistaken. But like the idea of getting burnt out is just awful in a way. So when you have a long list of priorities on top of your schedule, on top of whatever else is going on in your life,
Hmm.
it's hard to figure out, is it even worth it at this point?
Yeah.
So, like,
Exactly. And that,
I don't
I
know.
mean, you put stuff on your schedule, and that goes down to, I mean, that comes back to the very constant theme we always have is our why. We
Yeah.
could have pushed this off. We have, not this necessarily, but things we've done in the past, we've pushed off, we've done later on. We've either not done it at all, and that made everything we do harder, and it made getting our why um less possible.
Hmm.
It pushed it out to where it's further.
Yeah.
And we take this risk, we add this to our schedule, which we're busy, we know it, but we're
Hmm.
hoping that doing something like this helps us either become better business people, help another person out who maybe like recommends us, gets a hold of us somehow, we can help them. And whatever that snowballs into, we're taking that chance and adding this as a priority because we want to get to that why.
Yeah.
So that's why
Sorry about the airplane if you can hear that. That was not anticipated.
we're close to an airport, so it's just constantly going. So, doing these things, and like I said, we learn from experience that the more we don't do these things that we say we're going to, the less we don't get as close to the things we want to. So we're trying to make this a priority, and we're doing a good job of it. It's Unfortunately, it sucks sometimes because I want to sleep
Yeah.
or I just want to play video games, but then I'm not going to get what I want.
Yeah. It's the short term versus long term goals at that point.
Delayed gratification.
Hmm.
And it's also putting stuff into action as well. We can sit there and hope and, pray and do whatever we want to say things are going to happen, but we actually have to make them happen too.
Yeah.
So doing this is making it happen. And what is the trick to, mm, you know, having something be a priority that actually you do?
That's a good
Yeah.
question. Like, I don't even know how to answer that because how would you know what your priority should be?
Mhm.
Because it kind of goes back to your rental.
Yeah.
How did you determine that cleaning was more important than fixing the floor, for example?
Yeah.
How'd you determine which one was top priority in your mind? And for me, determining the top priority is what's going to help my budget slash help my business.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's like a fantastic point. And I think I could speak more of how I do my priorities now. But and when I did the rental and I decided to clean everything besides fix, I I just think I went there and everything just looked dirty. And I
Mhm.
was thinking that if everything looked clean, the problems would be fixed. I wasn't
Gotcha.
getting to the underlying issues of those fixes that need to be solved.
Gotcha.
I
So
was doing
it's
the surface level.
instant gratification, like you were
Yeah,
saying.
because if you fix everything, then you clean it, it takes a lot longer. Where if I cleaned everything, it looks great, it should be good to go, which it was not. So you're right. Again, a delayed gratification. If I would have known and I didn't go for that instant, you know, sparkly shininess, then I would have probably been able to get everything done and then just be like, have a cleaner go in there and spot clean everything or do it, a good clean and everything would have been cheaper, it would have been done quicker,
Yeah.
things like that. And with that experience of failure and what I would consider a failure, at least, that has helped re redefine what my priorities are in a way. Help me kind of change how I prioritize items. And I don't know about you with your experiences, how you try stuff and then you realize, oh, this has to change and this has to be more of a priority than what I originally thought. I'm not sure if it's been like a trial and error for you or if it's always been kind of you just know.
Mm, I feel like you don't just know, like you learn from your mistakes. But one of those things where, in my mind, I guess the mistake wasn't big enough for me to remember, but all I can think of, like relating wise, is for my hobby that I used to do. So horseback riding, I didn't want to water the arena when we had, because it was indoors. And I was like, this is a waste of time. It's just going to make the mud like a mud pit. And why am I bothering to do this? So I go out there and ride, and I'm just covered in dust. The horse is covered in dust. You name it, it's covered in dust. So I obviously didn't prioritize watering the ground. So now I'm dealing with dirt consequences. So now I have to go bathe myself, go bathe the horse, go bathe my tack. Well, okay, clean my tack because we don't bathe tack, but
Get what you're saying.
yeah, going
See,
along the terms.
you learn the hard way.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which I think is probably, the greatest teacher of them all because you learn the hard way and then you never do the hard way again.
exactly. Yeah.
So, uh, I know, with various jobs I've had, that's how I would train somebody underneath me would be to do it the hard way. And
Hmm.
then the next time I'd show them, here's the easy way. And then they'd be like, why didn't you just show me the easy way? Because I was like, well, are you ever going to do it the other way? And they're like, no. I was like, see, you're never going to do it the hard way now.
Yeah.
So, but um, I think it's kind of good that we had those differences in how we learn to prioritize. Is mine was more of a solid event
Hmm.
that changed how I prioritize things and how I've moved on. And yours has kind of been a gradual, oops here and an oops there, or like, this would have been easier.
Hmm.
And you've learned to prioritize that way. So I think that's just great for people to understand is that it's not one way and it's never
Yeah.
just,
How do you make your life easier?
yeah, it's very personal. That's how you're going to learn to prioritize. And it's going to be, um, uh, it's not like somebody's perfect and natural at it right away.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be room for improvement on it. But, it could be long for you and it could be quick. And I don't want people to feel like it's going to be either or,
Yeah,
you know.
it's different for each person.
Yeah.
Like it just not the same because if we were all the same, then everything would be the same, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
And your
we're
story is
not.
different than everybody else's
Yeah,
story.
that is very true.
We all have different pages.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think right now we have, a variety of things going on. How do we prioritize right now? How would you say we prioritize? Is that something that's easy to answer?
I feel like it's not because it changes each day.
Okay.
I feel like we try to prioritize like catching up or getting ahead on business, but I feel a majority times is it's catching up.
Yes.
So it's more, oh, we didn't do this, so we need to do this now.
Yeah.
So now I feel like we're trying to make a schedule in the sense to get ahead on our priorities. But I think we just
I guess how do we
fly by the
decide
seat of our pants.
what is the top priority? What was the first item of priority to prioritize when we do something, thinking high up and then kind of going down to our daily, like maybe starting at,
I feel
um,
like our top priority right now is our W-2 job, our work,
mhm.
because those are obligations that we
We need to
kind of have
survive,
to do.
yeah, to be able to do other things.
Exactly. So I feel like that's our top priority, if that's kind of what you're asking. And then our second
Mhm.
is usually we try to do business slash the dog. usually we try to put the dog ahead, but there's some times where, oh, I forgot to trim his nails, so I haven't done that. So, okay, I got to try to remember to do that, but let's film or let's catch up on our books.
Yeah.
And so we kind of put those as our second priority. And then our third is more like us time.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I guess couple wise. And then underneath that, I feel it's more self-care, which is something that I notice that we do lack on, in my opinion, is self-care, because we don't. I'm trying to think how to phrase this, but you know how self-care makes you feel better?
Yeah.
So when you feel better, it goes into your work / your business / your hobby, whatever it is.
It starts
It
with
just
you, and then you're able to gravitate it out.
exactly. And I noticed that's something we're not good at. We're good at doing a bunch of other things, but doing stuff for ourselves, that's hard. And it's always people are like, oh, do self-care, do self-care. Well, how do you do self-care when you have a million other things going on and you don't prioritize that? And that's not my priority, which I wonder sometimes, well, should we change that?
I definitely think that is something we need to prioritize because I believe, the stuff we do comes from how we feel. I think we're, especially today, like we're showing that we're prioritizing this, um, doing this podcast tonight and filming, but we're also tired because we got done with work. But I wonder if like we prioritize and we work out. We've been eating better. That's something we've done to prioritize.
We've done
We learn
a
that
lot better on
the better we've ate, the better we've both felt.
that.
And I think that's kind of something that's also, the things we've been working on and prioritizing too is trying to do the self-care. So that's part of it. But I think like if we did work out, that's going to help us because the body might feel better. Then, maybe we sleep better, and then maybe we have more confidence in what we do, and it just kind of snowballs in a way.
Yeah.
But that, adding those items, it is hard to find time to do that when you're doing everything else.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things that we don't put as a priority.
Yeah, because I would put that under in the priority list above sleep. Because to me, sleep is important. Like I don't get the amount of sleep that I want to get, but at the end of the day, I'd rather know that I've slept some compared to, stay up late, or because in the morning when we go walk the dog, I really don't want to walk out there, pretend I'm squatting, which realistically I'm just like, woo, I'm out here half asleep anyway.
Yeah.
And then I get back here and I'm just like, curl up in the blanket. I'm done.
Yeah.
Which I wish it could be extended rather than just, during breakfast time, but I'm just like, I'll stay here for the rest of the day.
And then you have to go to work, which you prioritized already.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just a bummer. But I think to show how we also prioritize is we need to talk about how we've done our businesses. We had the real estate, which was taking a lot of time, and it pushed the Benner Stride back. We deprioritized Benner Stride, and we deprioritized self-care.
Yep.
And then, I think we added a part to Benner Stride, the bookkeeping, and we prioritized that. And then we were able to, once our real estate was in control and stable and we got stuff done with it, we deprioritized that.
Yep.
And we pushed Benner Stride up. So we're constantly changing our priorities on what we do. And then inside of Benner Stride, we have prioritized, client communication, due dates when we're doing stuff. And I think we start with the due dates on things. When does something need to be done? And whatever's the next one is our priority. And I think we put that above getting like everything organized and things like that. And so we have this like written down as part of our schedule, but we do need to kind of reel it back into what do we need to do to get ahead as
Mm-hmm.
well and to be more efficient. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's how prioritizing kind of works for us as we try to do what we have to do first
Mm-hmm.
and what we can do to be better and be more efficient.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that made sense to you, if that's kind of how you're feeling about what we've done.
I definitely agree with what you're saying, and it definitely makes sense. I'm just listening,
Yeah.
just sitting here and listening.
I don't. Okay, good.
So
I
I
was
must have
just,
had a blank face on my
I'm
look
just
when
not
you
sure
was
if
talking. Like I agree with you.
yeah.
Like I'm not disagreeing with you. It just what do you say? Because you pretty much hit the nail on the head at that
Hmm.
point. Because it's truthful. Like we switch our priorities. We put certain ones underneath. We do make deadlines, especially with, say, there's client deadlines. We always put those first above ourselves,
Hmm.
which is rightfully so. It should be that way.
Yeah.
And then after that's just what else do we want to add to our busy lives at
Yeah.
that point?
What else will help us get to our why?
Yeah.
Hmm. How do you think that shifting, we have the mindset episode. We talk about shifting it to where it's more, you go away from that W-2 to a business and how we think mindset works is you grow as a person.
Hmm.
How do you think mindset and prioritizing go hand in hand? How do you think they work together? How do you think they're separate? I think I hit you with a pretty deep question there.
Yeah. I feel this isn't an I feel question. So I feel that your priorities obviously change on wanting you to be better and you find out your weaknesses like a lot quicker.
Mhm.
So you want to try and prioritize how do I make those better. So the whole SWOT analysis comes into play where you're well, what is my weakness? And how do I prioritize to either outsource that
Mhm.
or get better at that? And obviously that rolls into your budget. Well, how much can you outsource and how much do you have to learn slash take a hit on?
Mhm. Yeah, and I that's a great way to put it because you bring in the budget too, and making sure that you prioritize your financials
Hmm.
because that's also going to lead into everything else you do. So when you have that mindset of growth and that truthfulness and awareness that I think we both agree that that's what business has brought us is a completely different mindset that's allowed us to do those. And we have our weaknesses and we know them.
Hmm.
And it's like you said, we prioritize those things we are, weaker at.
Hmm.
So that way we can either get better at them or when we can pass it on and outsource it, that's the first thing that goes.
Yeah.
And the other stuff we're good at, it doesn't take us as long as the stuff we're not good at.
Yes.
And kind of knowing that, I think it allows you to prioritize. Because I
Yeah.
don't think we realized it before, and that's something one of our weaknesses and one of my weaknesses I think we've talked about is marketing.
Oh yeah.
I think that's something we both agree that we're not the best at. If we
Yeah.
did a SWOT analysis on ourselves, which we recommend doing, we think it's a good idea. Being
Yeah.
truthful with ourselves, marketing is one of those.
Yeah.
So we prioritize marketing. We started a podcast.
Hmm.
I make time to edit it.
Hmm.
We make time to sit down and schedule
Yeah.
marketing out as far in advance as we can get it.
Yeah.
So that way, if something happens, we can eventually catch up on it because it takes so long that if we can get ahead of it, we're a better situation.
Yeah. And are we good at it? No. That's like what we were saying. Like we're still not good at it, even though we're doing it. But I don't know about you, but I've been hit with different marketing people at least once a week. And like, I get it because I'm a small business too. Reaching out is encouraged, but I get so annoyed by it. And I'm just like, even when I look at how many viewers, like 0 followers. What? I'm sorry, but why would I want to pay you to market my stuff when you don't have any followers? Like, it's one of those turmoil things because, yeah, I don't have the biggest following either. And I'm not good at marketing. And people are noticing that, which, you know, says something to me. But at the same time, I don't want to be spammed of, oh, you're doing a great job. I can make it better. Well, not with 0 followers. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I need
A-
some references. I
And
need,
and also like I'm not ready to outsource
yeah.
because my business can't cover that fee right now,
Hmm.
especially with the quality that I may want.
Yeah.
So I like it's one of those things where
Hmm.
that it's not my priority to outsource.
Yep.
And it's definitely I don't want to hear spams. And that was a tangent moment.
Yeah, but I think it is good to show that, like, we have identified our weakness is marketing,
Mhm.
and we have done different things. We used to do shorts.
Yeah,
We used to do like 3 posts a week,
yeah, and
and it was really hard.
I focused on equine because
Hmm.
that's originally what Benner Stride was,
Yes.
is strictly equine because that's my background history. I know equine very well. And I just wanted to get that one equestrian that needed me, but I could not find that one equestrian.
The market just wasn't there with what's been
Exactly.
happening with the economy. It takes a hit too. It's
Yeah,
harder to get, and it just you had to change your priorities.
exactly.
You
I
learned.
had to reinvent the business,
Yeah.
aka prioritize what it is that I know I'm good at
Hmm.
and that I can flow into something where it can be better and not just help one industry also.
Yeah. I definitely think that the networking we've done, 'cause, socializing we've been able to do recently as well, it's kind of showed us that, like, the ideas we have and the business sense that we have, never really was contained to just the equine industry.
Yeah.
And so when we kind of decided to kind of uh, get away from the equine and move around a little bit more to a broader industry,
Mhm.
we're able to help more people.
Yeah. And also having you join on was
Yes.
a huge step
Hmm.
because that I think that kind of made the dice roll a different way, so to say.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, it was just me. I knew the equine industry, but I don't know what you know.
Hmm.
And you know a lot different, like, I don't want to say different things than I do, but I guess that is correct
That is true.
English.
I mean, that is, yeah. We have different experiences, different ideas, and the education we keep getting outside. I have different people I follow. I have different things I read than
Yeah,
you do, and
exactly.
it's very nice because we can bring these two together on
Hmm.
all the stuff that we do.
Yeah, it gives us more of a general overview,
Yeah.
which is something good.
Yeah.
Now, if, for example, an equine business came on, that would definitely be my lane. And that's something also we prioritized at the beginning of setting this up is we knew each other's lanes.
Yes. That was
I,
definitely something that when we first started talking about that was like the priority for us was
yes.
figuring out what we're doing because it was important
Yeah.
and it helped kind of you know make the business easier.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the
So,
broad sense of what prioritizing is
yeah.
finding the things that are very important to what you do,
And that might
putting
be
those
another
ahead.
good podcast is doing like knowing your lanes because that was a huge issue like almost any couple we talk to, that's an issue.
Hmm.
And okay, you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. And of course we cross lanes every now and then.
Gotta, yeah, gotta change lanes.
But at the end of the day, we know, okay, well, I'm not good at this or proficient in this,
Yes.
so I will help you so you can get caught up on all your priority lists. And then you're not behind. And when I get behind, I'll need your help in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. I think that was definitely something that helped us make sure we knew what we were doing.
Mhm.
And that also helps us with scheduling and future items too, because then you know what your priorities are separately from the other person's, and you can kind of hold each other accountable as well.
Yeah.
So when you go to schedule, I don't need to schedule the things you're doing
Mhm.
because you should be,
Mhm.
and then I can focus on the things that are more important or more beneficial to us,
Yeah.
that I'm good at.
Yeah.
So I think that's a kind of great thing to talk about as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um with knowing these things, going back to our like scheduling episode, knowing these things that you need to get done and then ranking them, I
Mhm.
think that is important to kind of do because we have a to-do list and it's easy to just write down on that to-do list,
Yeah.
but you always have to take it and then organize it to what needs to go first.
Yeah. The hardest thing slash when it comes to scheduling, it most schedules say priorities 1, 2, and 3. So you really have to sit down there. Okay, what are my top 3 priorities in the day to get done? And you have to get those done. But then on the next sheet that on your to do or your
Schedule.
schedule, thank you, um, is your long laundry list to say of to-do lists. So how do you make sure you know your 3 priorities along with all the long list of stuff to do?
Hmm. I know what I do is like I said, I think we start with the dates. Um, unless there's something that comes up, like we have client calls we know that we have to do because
Yeah, but
they have
how do you
steps.
handle with the pop-ups? Because pop-ups come up every day that no one addressed.
Yes, and I think that goes with our scheduling episode is that you need to kind of like make a plan for everything, and then I think what it you if you don't make a plan, you plan for failure or something. I think it's kind of close to the quote. Um, so like if you have that plan for the week or the day or something like that, and you're addressing something, um, having that buffer, like making sure you have a buffer in there that like this is gonna usually it only takes a day, so I'm gonna schedule it for 2 days. And then if something comes up, you're ready to go, and then for that item, you address it, and then you can go back to your first priority. Because those things that do come up, the client calls, and you end up having a conversation with them, or some social happens with the parent calls or friend calls, and you have to you want to make them a priority when they call, as long as there's nothing urgent going on. Most of the time, you can take that and then go back to doing what you were doing. And I think in the beginning of the episode, we were talking about we we sometimes sacrifice sleep
Mhm.
to get stuff done, and that's kind of the last item, but it's there as a something that can take a hit.
Yeah.
We'll just drink more coffee the next day.
And for me, it doesn't I don't like to take that hit because it's one of those I prioritize that over, you know, um, working out or self-care.
Hmm.
So I like sleep. Am I like that's me. And I know you could give up sleep before I could.
Yeah, I run off of less sleep. I can run off less sleep.
Yeah.
So I think, just to kind of reiterate that, I almost feel like when you start deciding to grow, and especially when you get into business and you have to change your mindset, you have to be first of all willing to change, I get, well, first of all, you have to have your why.
Yeah.
Second, you have to be willing to change. And then I think with your mindset growth, prioritizing it sounds like after this episode, they just kind of go together. You learn how to prioritize, you learn what the priorities are in your life, and then how to get them in your day,
Yeah.
and how to get them completed to
I
help
think
your mindset.
I think our dog is prioritizing wanting to be outside.
Yeah, he is becoming above filming at this point. Um,
He's letting us know right
yeah,
now.
told you he knows best. Uh, he made me lose my train of thought. So
Sorry.
no, that's all right. But prioritizing a mindset, I think they kind of, I think mindset comes first,
Mhm.
and then prioritizing kind of comes next. You kind of learn it.
If you're wondering, he popped his head on my arm.
He's burying himself over here now. Which means our episode should be coming to an end soon. Boss is
Guys,
telling us that Boss is giving us the signal we need to
he's
wrap this up.
he's prioritizing him time right now because he likes sleep too.
Yeah, I would like to end with one more question for you.
Yeah.
That I think would be good is how do people kind of learn how to prioritize when
I
it comes to getting into business?
I feel like it's just experience.
It's experience.
Yeah, they like
And are they
you
gonna
want to.
fail?
Yes, we can all.
They just
Yeah,
gotta know. You're
we
gonna
all
fail.
fail.
Trial and error. Well, and like we said earlier, mine took what was it? It took one event to learn how to
Hmm.
start prioritizing
Yeah,
that I was not doing something correctly, and then I had to change.
yeah,
And yours was over time.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But we also set up our businesses different if you think about it, because mine is more bootstrapped
mhm,
and yours was more,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it wasn't bootstrapped way. So
mhm,
they're totally different businesses.
yeah, that's true.
And so it would make prioritizing completely different and how we can learn to prioritize from it because yours had to be quick.
That's true. There's like the different types of businesses require different experiences and different attempts at learning how to prioritize.
Hmm.
Very good point.
Yeah.
So,
So I feel like you just go from learning, even if you're not in business,
mhm,
you just kind of learn how to prioritize in your way. Even with a W-2 job,
mhm,
you like I work with many different people and in my previous job, everybody was so different on how they did things. We all showed each other one way and we all had our own way of doing it. And one of the examples on where I worked was we had to back up a trailer attached to a four-wheeler. We all backed up differently. It just, but it got done in
yeah,
our way. Did sometimes it take longer? Yes. Did sometimes it take shorter? Yes. It was different each time. And it was a priority all of us knew we had to get done for the job.
excellent point. Everybody has a different way. It's okay. And, I also think that something somebody could do maybe is just write down everything. Make that to-do list on a piece of paper.
A
And then,
brain dump
yeah,
moment.
just brain dump on the paper and then start like putting maybe ranking everything next to each other.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to start is because once you start ranking and then you start with number one
Yeah,
and work down, if you mess up one, then you learn how to re-rank.
yeah. That's a great way to like start, but I think the number one thing is you need to do it.
Action, taking action. That is a great point.
You can brain dump all you want, you can you can number them out on your priorities all you want, but when are you actually going to take the action
Very
to
true.
do it?
Yes, that's like working out for us.
Yeah,
We don't do it, we haven't prioritized it.
yeah.
And once we prioritize it and we start doing it, you know, it'll become a priority once we start doing it.
Yeah.
I think is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So
And once we find time to do it, because we were doing there for a while, but we ran out of time. And like we were talking about, it became on the bottom of the totem pole for our priority list.
mhm.
So maybe time goes with our priorities, which I'm sure huge part of it does.
Yeah. And it goes with scheduling.
That too, yeah.
Having that schedule, knowing
Yeah.
what you're doing and getting those things done.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's good. I like it.
Great.
Yeah. So
Okay. Dog is ready to go play outside.
so I think that was one of the 5 main things that we've so far come up with on our business pyramid,
Our
whatever.
little adventure,
Yeah. Is
our
my
path
why?
to business.
Yes, half the business involves why, mindset, scheduling, prioritizing, and I think the next one will be budget.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more sprinkled up in there.
There's definitely gonna
Like
we're gonna
there's
have like
different
both your
points.
yeah, and we're gonna be like counting them all. I'm gonna run out of fingers.
It's gonna what it is it the shooting ladder or Candyland where you have all different paths?
The snakes and ladders
Oh,
where
snakes and
you
ladders, is
can
that
go,
what it is?
you know, you hit this square and then you go up one, and then you hit a different square and you have to slide
Yeah,
down.
it's a different path each time.
Maybe it's ladders and slides or something.
Uh,
But yeah,
way back, but
a
yeah.
board game. But with that, where can people find us and get more information about us? Or if they have any questions, where can they go to get those answered?
We're definitely on bennerstride.com. Also we're on Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube.
YouTube,
I think
a
this
good
is
majority of social media platforms. Now, kind of what we went back in the episode, if you listen to us, we're not great at marketing. So if we don't respond quickly,
we'll get there eventually.
it takes time. Yeah, it's not well, at least not my priority because I don't like social media. That's my personal opinion. I hand it over to him and that's his lane, needless to say.
Yes. So, well, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for joining us on this podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.